Hey, come on in. Say, Gene, how are you? You guys hot enough?
Looks like you're
Yep.
busy.
Yep, ready to go. We're Maryless tonight, so you'll have to kind of open up. Steve is on the phone there. Steveman.
Oh. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Greg, how are you, buddy?
I'm good.
I'm going to start this and then I'll go do my stuff in the computer room and I'll be right back. Okay? This is live and this should be too.
Are we live on both? We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. Hello, Steve Tiedemann.
Hello.
You know, I was going to call in sick, and I found out that you were going to be on the show, and changed my mind.
You still know how to tell a good story, don't you?
I do. I'll tell one on you, buddy. I might have been Halloween. I'm not sure the occasion, but Steve always had a car that was painted black and white in a certain pattern. And I'll be gosh, one night he was up in the flag stand, and he was the flagman that night, and he had a hard time handling the flags because they kept hitting his udders.
always try to put on a good show where and have fun, especially for the kids. You know, once you get the kids interested in racing and this and that, and then it's a lot easier to get the parents to come to the racetrack when the kids want to go. So it was always something. And my wife tells me I'm a kid at heart anyway, so kind of love doing goofy stuff like that.
Do you still have that costume?
I do. It don't fit quite like it used to many years ago, but I still do have it.
That's funny. Yeah, I'll never forget that. And you and I go way back, man. I mean, anybody now, I guess if you raced at Adrian, you're an old timer, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where we all cut our teeth.
Exactly.
Back in the day, getting into racing and this and that. So one of the lost racetracks.
Well, it kind of coming back. Butler's had a good season, and I saw you been racing down there at Old 71, and is that what it takes for you, a racetrack close to home?
Well, with us owning the DJ business, and we're booked every Saturday night with weddings and doing other events. Friday night's the only thing that we've got open, and so with Butler being just about 20-25 minutes from the driveway, it made it a good choice to run out there, and turned out, you know, we thought we'd go see what it was like, not knowing what it was going to be after 10 years of sitting dormant, and the next thing you know, it's got a heck of a good racing surface, and track was real racy, and started taking on the rubber, and I've always been scared of a slick track. I was always a heavy track guy, and so I definitely had to learn how to drive on the rubbered up tracks.
You know, I'm right there kind of with you. I sometimes you don't think mechanically like a racer should, you know, about what's going on with the car. But I raced for quite a while not realizing that my car wouldn't turn very far to the right. And that was why I had spun out a few times. And so once I found that out, that things were a lot different. But I raced it long enough that I had a bad habit of how I approached the corner, because I inside thought that the car was going to be loose, and I couldn't overcome it. But dry slick racetracks are good for a lot of people. I mean, I prefer the dry track. I like the heavy one too. I like it in the heat race, and it's always awkward when it changes to a dry slick track the same night. But you know, after being out of it 12 years, I can see how you kind of had to get your feet wet again, and man, that's a long time to sit out.
It is. We, you know, the funny part is we took everything that the new technology, put all that stuff in the car, and you've got to adjust the car to what the car likes and the driver at the same time. And so I didn't like the way the car felt with all the new technology, the new coils, bind, and all this stuff that they're coming up with. So I went back to my old notes from way back when, put everything back in that I ran, years ago, and it's still fast. So I'm like, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, the track's a little bigger than it was at Adrian, but 12 years ago, you raced at Butler quite a bit. I mean, you have in the past. That's about the period of time that Butler was closed, isn't it?
Yeah. We ran down there. We actually were running 3 nights a week. We were running, Lynn County on Friday nights, then Adrian on Saturday nights, and then Butler on Sunday.
I remember that arrangement changed several times. At one time we raced on Sunday nights at Adrian, and I kind of wish it would have always stayed Sunday night. But
right, it was, and there were a couple of times old Butler and Lynn County swapped nights. Lynn County ran Sunday nights, and then Butler went to Friday nights, and so the only one that the whole time I raced that stayed consistent was a good old Adrian.
Right.
It was always Saturday nights. I got there after they run the Sunday nights, but when I was in high school, we used to go down, and a bunch of us would get in the trunk of my buddy's car. He'd pay for one, and we'd go into the parking, and then he'd come open up the trunk, and hear about 4 or 5 of us crawl out of the trunk, go in that way, the good old days.
Well, they kind of changed that pay window. They caught on to you, Steve.
Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were the reason why they changed that around.
Hey, don't feel bad. That's how I started. It was the Lakeside Speedway that we would hide in the trunk. But, that's an old trick. But, man, I got a lot of fond memories about that area. The Butler, Adrian, Nevada. When it was Saturday night at Adrian, sometimes you could get done in time and go down to Nevada and catch the feature.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You're on top of the car. This was this Friday night or this past Friday night?
That looks like Nevada.
It does.
That yellow wall. That must have been.
Yeah, it is Nevada. It's got a yellow wall.
Yeah. Remember what year that might have been, Steve?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Because you haven't been to Nevada this year, have you?
Not this year, no.
Yeah, no.
Well, you got on the checkered board driving suit.
With all the darn old COVID stuff shutting everything down with the DJ business, we had to reschedule a bunch of weddings from last year. And so it's been a nightmare trying to get everybody rescheduled and rebooked and make sure everybody was covered. But finally, this coming Saturday night is the last reschedule from everything that was rescheduled. So from here on out, it's normal, and hopefully we don't go through another shutdown.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've been hearing, I can't remember if it's Kansas City or who, but I think they're going back to masks.
And Kansas City starts masks mandated Monday.
Do they really? Oh, man. Wow. That's unreal.
I feel, Steve, I'm in the wedding business too, and I'm suffering because of it. But I think COVID's going to raise its head again, and I think this winter's going to be worse than last.
Yeah.
I hate to say that.
Yeah, there's a high possibility the way it's going because the numbers are slowly edging back up. But we've got a picture of you here, I believe, in your car this year.
It's a good-looking car.
And you do have the Moo Daddy on the front. I didn't notice I'd noticed that before, but has that just always kind of been a signature thing for you over the years?
Yeah, well, we had, of course, way back when we started, we were looking for a niche, something that would grab people's attention.
Uh-huh.
And my ex-wife now, she collected anything Holstein cows, and so the race car got added to the collection, and it was a small price to pay to have a race car. But she got to design the paint scheme, and I thought, my God, the first time I showed up to track, I'm going to get laughed off the track. Well, the kids loved it. They thought it was neat, and so they nicknamed it the Holstein Special, and then next thing you know, they started calling me Moo Daddy, and that name stuck. And so we ended up just kind of leaning on to it because nobody knew my number, knew my name, but they knew the cow car.
Yeah, the cow car.
I always thought it was just because you wanted everybody to move over.
I was milking it the best I could.
Hey, we got a picture up here of your current wife. Congratulations.
Yeah, did a little upgrade there
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
car and the wife.
I think that's your wife. I'm not sure.
I hope.
You
bet
didn't
I'm
have a daughter that
myself
got
in there.
married. Did you have a daughter that got married, Steve?
Yes.
Oh, well.
Well, I think that's what this picture is. I
yeah,
think
that must be your daughter.
because that doesn't look like your wife to me. But whatever.
So it's hard to imagine that, Steve, because our kids were in daycare together.
Oh, really?
Right.
And so it's been that long. You've set out 12 years. You've kind of been raising your family, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much what I was saying. Is that for that 12 years, that you know, it was one of those deals where the kids are starting to get older. They're playing sports and doing all that stuff. And I think one of your sons just graduated last year, and you got to watch him play football, right?
Yeah. Yeah. My youngest son, Dakota.
Yeah.
He played football for the Archer Whirlwinds, and got to watch him turn into a little shy guy with, not much confidence, into this beast of a lineman. Just this old boy is one that from the shy little kid to the amazing young man he is now is quite the transformation, and a lot of that has football, to do with it. So
Yeah, absolutely. It is fun to, like you say, to be able to watch that. And of course, you probably wouldn't have been able to enjoy it or see as much if you'd have been racing.
right.
Yeah.
And that's why we decided to get back into it, because none of us are getting any younger, and I never lost the drive. I always wanted to race, and always had to drive. And what really screwed me up was two things, and that was Billy Humble let me drive his late model down there at Nevada a couple years ago, and then a buddy of mine, Charlie Lazier, let me drive his Mod Light one night out of Grain Valley.
Yeah.
And after driving the Mod Light, the bug came back, but I could contain it. After I drove Billy's late model down there at Nevada, then it was on. I was the next day after that race. We won the heat race, and then ended up. I think we ended up 6th or 7th in the feature. And the next day, I was on the old interwebs looking for a car.
I don't know. I didn't really get to hear everything you guys were talking about while I was in there messing around. But did you ask the second question there? And that
I haven't been going by the script at all.
How much has racing changed in that 12 years you were gone? I mean, how difficult? I mean, you come back and win the points championship, but how difficult was it to come back after 12 years? I mean, have the cars changed that much?
The setups and everything else was there's so much geometry, there's so much science built into these cars now that, if you can't function in basic math, you're out in left field. and so, like I was telling Greg earlier, all this new setup stuff that they were doing, the coil binds and everything else, and just the geometry of the chassis.
Yeah.
We tried like heck to get it set up, and you've got to adjust the car to the track, and then you've got to adjust the driver to the car.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a whole
And-
new era,
Yeah.
a whole new world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the beginning of the season, boy, I had that car so tight I'd go into the corner and look like I was trying to go up and kiss the wall, because every time I'd go in, I could not get the front end to hang on,
Yeah.
and the rear end just would not let go. And so we scrapped everything, and I went back to my old notebooks from way back when and put what I knew that worked back then in there, and it still worked.
I'll be darned. That is crazy.
No, it has changed. I kind of went through the same learning curve because I'd already always raced the late models with leaf springs, and you just slid them around the corners, And then now that the 4-bar cars and the shocks packages and stuff that everybody runs, it's just night and day difference.
Yeah.
We got another guy from Adrian days that just walked in the door, and I'm not going to blow it right now. You'll get to see who it is.
Well, it's been on the internet all day,
Yeah.
so probably most people
And
know.
we're having Adrian reunion.
Yeah, but, well, I got a picture coming up. I think it's during Alex's deal that you're going to love.
Hey, there's a picture up right now, Steve.
Now, that's his wife.
You and your wife, and you can't tell much difference. She's young.
Yeah, we went 5 years younger, so
Yeah.
whenever I'm all wore out and decrepit, at least maybe she'll be able to take care of me.
So that was at the Chiefs game, and there was another one of you at looked like down in the confines of Chiefs Stadium. Were you delivering? Because that's your job, isn't it? You deliver beverages.
Yeah, I deliver alcohol during the week, and it was pretty cool. You know, the simple things in life. You know, I go underneath Kauffman Stadium, get to go underneath Arrowhead Stadium, go down in there into the dungeons, and they got a little area where they stage all the alcohol, and and I'm wheeling stuff around, and I look over, and there's some of the equipment and stuff like that for out on the field, and I'm like, dude, this is unreal, you know. I was like a kid in a candy store, you know.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably like a lot of kids at the races feel. Yeah, Mary just disappeared. She had to go to the bathroom. Anyway.
Steve, that kind of makes sense because everybody knows if you're delivering liquor, that's nothing new. We're like old-time moonshiners.
Right, exactly.
That's what people think, you know.
We're watching the race here. We've just had a few laps go by, and it looked like really looked like Curlis had this thing in hand, Steve.
Curlis, yeah, he was fast. Jeremy was definitely fast, and he's fast every week.
Yes,
Yeah.
So you got to be on your game to get around him, and that's one thing that I love is, you know, there's a certain group of people, same thing back in the day as it is today, that you know that you can run side by side, inches away from each other, and never touch.
Yeah.
And we did that all year with me and Jeremy and Josh KC in the 14P. You know, we've all had great battles out on the track and never touched one another, and that's fun for us, but that puts on a hell of a show for the crowd.
Absolutely does, and I mean that's what sells tickets. I mean, I don't care what you say. If the racing's no good, I don't know how many promoters, you know, I've talked to, and not that I'm bragging or anything, but you know, I can get a track out there, but I can't make the racing any better than what it is. I mean,
Here you are, you've moved up, I think. Who's that beside Steve?
is that DeJong or who is that?
He
pushed up high.
You're racing into second right now.
He's been, I think he's been in second from the
Well,
very
no,
beginning,
that's
but that
DeJong.
guy raced up to him.
Okay.
It was a
Getting
green and
confused
white
with
car.
That other blue.
Oh, that was the 69
Yeah.
of I think it's Vaught.
Oh,
Or-
okay.
Something like that. It's oh my God, his
Oh, 69. Yeah, I know who you mean.
the
The graphics
Liar.
guy
Right.
races at
something like
CMS.
that. But
I don't go to
he's
see
pretty quick
racing,
too,
you know.
and he come up on the outside, and then something broke on the front end, and next we got a caution come back around, and he's nosed up against the wall, and it's like, ooh, that's no good.
Yeah, 96, did you say? Or 69?
It may be 69.
Brill. Cody Brill's
Hey.
dad?
Yeah, yep.
Let's go back a minute. And you were talking about old cars versus new cars and racing side by side and all this stuff. Would you go so far to say the new technology allows you to keep your car out of trouble? Or, I mean, can you race side by side easier than we could 12 years ago?
Yeah, because the shocks that we run now are just so amazing as far as keeping that tire planted. You know, underneath Jeremy and Josh, you know, I'd bury that car into the corner, and you know, we'd slide up and come up to them, but we would not touch. You know, I knew the car was going to stick, and so back in the day with the old junk shocks that we used to run, you never knew whenever you buried that thing into the corner whether it was going to stick or whether it was going to, swap the front end with the back end or vice versa.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're after the yellow flag now. Jeremy had pulled off, and you're leading in red and white. Number 7 is in second.
And then here's
Yep.
03, is
That's all.
it Jimmy Smith?
Yeah.
Jimmy Smith.
Yeah.
Jimmy Smith. That's a guy too that's been a heck of a good racer, and he's one that's been in every car that there is out there. Just about. He's drove the vintage cars. He's got a factory stock. He's got that modified, and so he's been in just about anything. I guess that's what you get for running around with Al Guthrie. You'll have a chance to drive anything and everything.
Now, I remember the day that you came out to Grand River and got to drive a vintage car, and that kind of like kick-started you back to life, too.
Yeah. Drove old Mickey Fleehart's car.
Yeah.
And come home with a trophy in my jacket because I rode my motorcycle out there.
Now, that's a good story.
I had to carry the trophy home in my jacket. It was pretty cool.
And your wife or whoever probably said, "Now, what were you doing, Steve?"
Well, I was supposed to go out and just watch. Well, it ended up, Mickey's like, "Hey, drive my car." And, well, hell, if somebody's going to offer me to drive the car, I ain't stupid. I'm going to take it up.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now that you remind me, I remember back that day. It seems like when we saw the motorcycle pulling in the gate, we had an old guy standing there, and he says, "Now, who is this driver?"
A spectator turned into driver that day.
Steve, man, you have had so many jobs in racing. In fact, I think I heard Greg say a while ago that you were a flagman. Now, what track was that, Greg?
At Adrian, he was wearing a cow suit.
But anyway, you have done it all. I mean, racer, announcer, and flagman, and in a way, I kind of feel like, I don't know if this is really that true, but it seemed like last fall when Jerry and Annette were down there trying to put things together at Old 71, you were kind of helping them out. So let's say assistant promoter. How about that? Let's add that to the group. Radio personality, and all of these things, Steve. Oh, but look, he's having trouble getting up on the roof.
That's because he's old.
Making sure your foot's where it's supposed to be. That's like me. But
Exactly.
Anyway, Steve, out of all of those things that you've done in and around racing, what has been the most fun?
Of course, driving the car is the most fun. Being a car owner and a driver is the most fun, yet most frustrating. But I would say, being the track announcer and bringing the excitement to a race that's out on the track and getting everybody's attention to, get your nose out of the phones and check this out. There's a heck of a race going on here for, sometimes it's for last place, where the field, kind of spreads out. But then the last two cars, they'll put on a heck of a race because neither one of them want to, pull up the rear. And so, that's what you got to do is you got to find where the action is on the track and make it exciting for everybody. And that's one thing that I always loved. And then just, interacting with the crowd and stuff like that, because when you're in a race car, you've got, you can see the fans up against the fence, you can wave to them and everything else, but when you're behind a microphone, you can interact with them better.
Right.
And just, it's something that my wife now says that I've got the gift of gab. and I've never met a stranger in my life.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I can relate so much to what you're saying, but I gotta say, driving the race car is
the most fun.
The most fun, and it definitely is the most frustrating. I've never really been frustrated as an announcer.
Right.
As a driver, man, it ain't hard to
Well,
hold that back.
Well, Steve, I can attest to you being a pretty good person on the radio too. We didn't do that very long together, but I thought you really did an excellent job. And honestly, I think if we would have had a little bit more time with that and the sponsorship hadn't went away or whatever, you know, I think you and I might have been able to make a go of that. Now, I might be thinking above myself, but I thought there toward the end, you know, we were having some pretty good shows. I don't know if you remember or not, but I think we were doing some stuff about points champions.
Yeah, it was good times doing the speed zone up there on 610 Sports.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, the higher ups, that's when NASCAR really got big around the area, and so they wanted to drop the local, you know, covering of the grassroots, and then just focus on NASCAR.
Yeah.
And you know, NASCAR's okay. That's where I watch whenever I want to take a nap on Sunday afternoons. But
me too. I agree with you. Honestly, I do not actually search out a NASCAR race. I just it just cannot hold my interest anymore. And like you say, I find myself falling asleep.
Did you watch any of the SRX races?
I've been catching some of them, and that's you know, whenever they're on dirt, that's really exciting, you know, because that's combining both worlds. But I think that's going to be a good deal with the if they keep it on the dirt and keep it, you know, kind of a local deal. They're supposedly famous drivers, you know, but a lot of them are not the superstars and everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of
they'll
kinda
take
nice.
the driver from that track that they're at, like Brian Brown at Knoxville, and then they went to Slinger, which is a little quarter-mile asphalt track, and one of the local drivers there that I never heard of was Bad Fast. So I think it's a great idea. Good combination.
I'm trying to hold this picture. Here's what I'm trying to do. Steve, we got a picture of you in a pink outfit here. It looks like a rabbit ears. I don't know exactly what that is.
Do you have a thing for pink bunnies?
No, this is what happens when you have a few adult beverages and somebody buys you a Christmas gift as a gag. Well, if you don't want to see it, don't you dare buy it and give it to me.
Well, the important question is, did you sleep in it?
No. It was a little constraining in some areas that was very uncomfortable. So it may be one size fits all, but I'm not a one size fits all kind of guy.
Yeah,
It's designed that way so you'll hop.
Yeah.
We've got a picture up here now of, I think, the Mod Light you drove. It looks like at Valley.
Yeah.
Was it a number one?
Yeah, 1C. That was Charlie Lazier's car that he let me pilot one night, and you know what? It was quite interesting because I'm used to looking down and freaking out whenever I'd see my tachometer in a race car hitting 68, you know, to 7,200 RPMs. Well, I looked down at the tach of this thing, and it was turning 13,200 RPMs. And I was like, holy crap! And it was a definitely different sound, and the power to weight ratio was crazy on that thing.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of guys say they're pretty crazy to drive in that short wheelbase. Plus, you're not exactly the smallest guy in the world either.
Nope, they had to put a emergency hatch in the top to. I crawled out. I couldn't get in the window because of the full containment seat, and so there was a flip top hatch, and so I'd crawl straight down in the seat from that. And it was
Big guy in a little car.
quite comical.
We've got a little slide up here now. It says Moo Daddy Entertainment, mobile DJ services. Do you do quite a bit of that, Steve?
Yeah, we're booked solid every Saturday. We're actually booked solid every Saturday for the next 2 years. So
holy smokes!
It's been crazy, and we've been blessed. We went to a really good friend of ours' wedding, and the DJ was just terrible and boring. And I just knew with the radio experience and the track announcing experience that we could do better. And so we'd started our own DJ business and started off pretty small, and then now we're you know, I'm proud of where the business has gone, and we were just about ready to go full time and drop the regular job during the week, and then COVID hit, and so it's like, well, good call on that. So because once COVID hit, we were we shut down for 4 months. We didn't do anything.
Oh my gosh, wow. Well, just out of curiosity, of course I'm nosy. What does it cost for a wedding?
Are we friends or not?
Well,
you know,
give me
there's always the friends and family discount, but the average is about $125 an hour.
Gee, that's not bad. That's not
No,
bad, I don't think.
The guys up in the city are, you know, they're charging $1,500 to $2,500 a night, and I just can't look somebody in the eye and tell them, okay, I worked for 8 hours, give me $2,500.
Yeah.
So it ranges anywhere from $750 to $1,000, depending on how long it goes.
Yeah.
So you kind of have an Andy Griffith.
But we've got $30,000 worth of equipment that we've bought, and that's the sad part is we just upgraded brand new equipment right before COVID and wrote a $15,000 check to buy all this new equipment, and then COVID says, nope, you can't do anything to recoup that money.
Right.
We've got a picture of you two during COVID up right now.
During COVID. Looks like Halloween. looks like Halloween.
You were pretty sad in this picture.
Oh, that's something else, I'll tell you. I love these pictures on Facebook. Sometimes Greg gets us so much fun, it's unbelievable.
Hey, I want to point out a couple things while we're on the DJ thing and all this talking about
That's something you could do, man.
Well, yeah. Huey Anthony.
Yeah.
He was a DJ.
Really?
From Day Automotive. Did you know that, Steve?
I just, believe it or not, I just heard that here about a month ago. I was talking to somebody, and it's like, well, oh, Huey used to DJ, and whoever I was talking to, I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but he's like, he's the one that DJ'd my wedding.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, what a small world.
I'll be darned.
Matter of fact, you guys are similar in personality and stuff. And when I first met you, I didn't think that you were a big talker, and then maybe I had something to do with your career. I remember you driving at Adrian, and we had a radio program at KDKD, and I interviewed you as a driver, and the next thing I knew, you were doing announcing at football games with Doug Neff, and I mean, did that jumpstart your thing? Were you shy before that?
I've never met a stranger in my life, but I always, I wasn't sure. I kept to myself until I knew what kind of person you were, how to approach a person as far as, can I joke with this individual? Can they take a joke? This and that. And once I learned, like, okay, we got the same kind of personality. This guy's got a sense of humor. Then, hey, here I am. This is me.
Yeah. Let's have some fun.
Well, I'm really proud of you, man.
Yeah.
You've accomplished everything you set out to do.
Yeah.
I mean, here you are with a new race car. I'm jealous too.
Absolutely, Steve. I have to say, I think you are probably one of the unique individuals in racing, in the fact that, like, you have done so much. Like I say, you have had your hand in, it seems like, one thing or another that has to do in or around racing ever since I've known you. Which what year was that we were doing the radio show anyway? I don't even remember.
Oh God, when was that? That was
2000.
It was. I was in the A mod at the time, and we were sponsored by Gale's Harley Davidson.
Really?
And so that was 2000. I think it was 2004 to 2006 or 7, because we did it for almost 3 years, and then, like I said, they started getting into the NASCAR real heavy and trying to drop the local grassroots, and that's where I just kind of stepped away from it.
Yeah. I think I only was in it for about a month and a half. Is all I was, and then that was it. They shut her down.
That was post Adrian Speedway era.
Yeah, but anyway. But anyhow, Steve, I want to thank you for taking some time out of your evening. I know probably your racing's kind of on hold right now, isn't it? Because Old 71, I don't think they run again for a couple of weeks, do they? August something?
Yeah, they don't fire back up for the fall season for a couple of weeks, and so we were planning on trying to go out to Valley tomorrow night, and then we ended up a friend of ours had end up having a double booking, and so he handed one of the bookings, DJ bookings, off to us. So now we get to go make, I call it easy money, because you don't have to put much money into it like you do the race car, you know.
Right.
It's funny because Saturday when we won, I'd taken $200 out of the bank to pay, need to buy a tire, need to buy fuel, and then get everybody in. And so I think I had $10 left after all said and done.
Oh, wow.
And then we won 300. So
Yeah.
we put $110 back in the bank. So
Yeah, good deal. Absolutely. But anyway, Steve, like I say, man, thanks a lot for coming on, talking with us. It's always a pleasure, and we have a good time no matter what. And especially you and Greg being, old race time buddies, why, it's a good experience.
Right. It's kind of like an old work reunion or family reunion,
Yeah.
It's people that you've thought about and cared about over the years, and you just don't get to ever see them as much as you'd like to.
Yeah, absolutely.
There'll be a few of us to get to reminisce next year, because I'll be back down at Butler on Friday nights, and Mike Parker here in Kansas City's taking that over. Jerry did a great job. Man, did he work his butt off. He got that place resurrected.
Boy, didn't he ever, after, and that's what a lot of us, didn't know what to expect after sitting dormant for 10 years. Okay, is this track gonna hold together? What's it gonna do?
Yeah.
And of course, the first couple of weeks there were some hiccups here and there, but what do you expect for a place that sat there, dormant for 10 years? And then we went down and looked at everything over, and tried to give Jerry a hand as much as time allowed. And then just looking at the big old ruts that was washed out in the middle of 3 and 4, they was 4 and 5 foot deep where that water run down the track.
4 and 5 feet deep?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy. And so he did a hell of a good job getting that filled back in, getting it packed in where it would hold together.
Well,
Man.
He learned dirt work real quick, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
He
Definitely
did all
so.
that septic work and stuff, so he had some knowledge about dirt
About dirt, yeah.
when he got there. But,
Yeah, I bet so. Absolutely.
man, I'm just so thankful for this season reviving that place.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's just look at it this way, man. It's an opportunity. We're sitting here with our next guest, and it is definitely an Adrian Butler reunion time.
Yeah.
Lynn County too. So,
That's what I thought when I was putting these pictures and stuff
what
together.
did you race at Lynn County? Were you back in pure stocks then?
Hell, I raced pure stocks and A mods over there. At one time we had a pure stock and an A mod, and so just whatever the special was that night, or whatever wasn't broke that night is what got loaded on the trailer.
I agree. Well, Steve, we've got to move on, buddy. I'm kind of on a tight schedule tonight. We've got 3 guests, and I hate to cut you off because I know we could talk probably here for probably another hour. But
right.
Like I say, thanks for taking some time out, man, and sitting down. I just thought, I've got to talk to Steve. I mean, being out of this for 12 years, coming back, winning the points championship, why, I thought, can't pass this up. I got to do it.
I appreciate it, man, and I need to thank all my sponsors.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, please.
And E&M Underground, Hometown Flooring, then Mood Daddy Entertainment, of course, and then Daddy O's Diner out of Pleasant Hill, and then McConville Sheet Metal and Fab, the American Legion of Harrisonville. They're celebrating their 100th year this year, and then Branding Iron Barbecue, and good old Billy Humble of H3 Graphics always did a bang-up job on the car every year for us.
Absolutely. Well, like I say, Steve, thanks a lot for helping us out tonight and being on the show, buddy. You have a good evening, and we'll look forward to seeing you probably at Old 71 here in August.
Sounds good, and I'm predicting it now that guy you got coming up next is going to be the points champion next year down at Old 71.
Old 71.
Hey.
He sure looks like it that
Steve,
Friday night.
We want you to come on the show whenever we can find something for you to wear.
Oh, there you go. Anytime.
Okay, take care, Steve.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
See you, buddy.
Why don't you come on over and join us, Alex? I think I'll turn on the fan up here.
I just appreciate you got air conditioning.
Yeah, no kidding.
Greg, how you doing?
Get this baby going here.
I was telling Steve on the phone, or before the show started, I said, you know, I was going to call Mike and cancel for tonight until I saw who was coming on.
Oh, really?
And you and Steve, man, I said, that's going to be a reunion.
It is.
I'm sure glad you didn't. Since Mary came up sick, why,
Yeah.
I thought, how can I do this by myself? I thought, well, I'll just have to start it all, get it going, and then come start the program. That's about all I can do. But
This is Alex Crawford, everyone. He's been racing a long, long time, and he still looks like he did. I don't know when that picture was taken, but he still looks like a teenager. Dude.
Well, thanks, appreciate it. Well, the hat kind of covers up what's missing. So.
Yeah, I think I left the A out of Crawford now that I look at it. Boy, I wish I had somebody to spell check me.
Well, you got that wrong.
Yeah.
You're not the only one to do stuff like that. It's all right. I have seen that before.
I'll tell you the truth. If I never made a mistake, it wouldn't be right. It seems like, because I always screw something up somewhere
That
along
looks
the
like
line.
a need for bifocals.
Yeah.
So-
Well, yeah, it's a lot smaller on the computer than it is on this, believe me. But I'm not the greatest typist anyway.
That's my German last name right there.
Well,
we
like,
got 3 guests. I forgot about.
you didn't
Daniel.
turn your page, did you?
So anyway, we got a cheat sheet here. What? Oh, there's supposedly a surprise for me in this.
Yes, there's going to be a picture of Greg coming up here.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
just from looking at that, because I think that was Adrian,
It was,
that picture
yeah.
was, I thought, man, this guy's been at this for a while.
I have been. I actually raced for 10 years, but I took 12 years off.
Dude,
And
how
then
old
come
are
back.
you?
I'm 45.
Oh, no
Oh,
way.
you don't look 45.
Really? Thanks.
Oh, no.
Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
35 tops. Don't you think, Greg?
Well, yeah, I didn't know. You just blew me away. I mean, it does seem like yesterday when we were all at Adrian
It does.
Speedway.
Yeah.
And I assumed at the time that you had just started racing. You started at Adrian, right?
Yeah, I did. I started in 97, July of 97.
That's
yeah.
when.
Yeah.
Because my son was born in 97.
Oh, really? Okay.
And he grew up in the Alex the Great Crawford era. And that's how you got that name, because he would say,
Really?
"Go Alex, go Alex." And so I started, you were so great to him, I said, "Alex the Great
I
Crawford."
never knew that. Really, who did that? I
I'll
didn't
be
know that.
darned.
No.
You were his favorite.
You know, one time I remember he used to come down to the fence during Victory Lane,
Yeah.
and I tried to get him down to the picture one time, and I was like, "Tristan, come on down here." And he goes, and he takes off running to the top, and he goes in the booth. I'm like, "Where'd he go?" And they're like, "He went to ask his dad for permission to come down the track." And we're waiting and waiting, and they're like, "Okay, we got to go ahead and take pictures
Yeah.
and go with the preview." And I never did get him in one of the
Well,
pictures. So.
I'll be darned.
I kind of hate to blow it for you, but the main reason he liked you is because your number 59 had wheel covers.
That's a good reason to
Well,
like a driver.
I can't say I've ever heard that one yet, but okay, really.
His deal when we'd go to the pits was he'd play those wheel covers like a drum.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Because he's
okay,
a
really.
musician now.
Okay.
So, you know.
I'll be darned.
Well, but you just blew my bubble, man. Come on. I don't know
No,
if I
he-
should have come in here tonight or not. You should downgraded me down a little.
He really did. He thought you were a good driver. And how could you not? Because you dominated.
Yeah, we were pretty blessed for a while.
you
know?
were. It
Yeah.
seemed like
Yeah,
every
we were.
week it was Alex the Great Crawford taking the win.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
And he was always smiling when you get to victory lane. And
Yeah.
we had a remote mic, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
there
definitely.
was many
yeah.
an interview.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was impressed because you handled things so well. I thought, well, someday this guy's going to be somebody.
Uh-huh.
Now he's still driving street stock.
Pure stocks.
Pure
Yeah,
stocks.
Pure
stocks,
stocks.
yeah.
Well,
But you're doing a fine job,
Well,
buddy.
thank you, appreciate it.
You come up to Valley, and I thought, man, this is cool.
Yeah, that was a well, that E-Mod just. I was out in left field on that car, boy.
Yeah.
I had a lot to learn on that, and just I didn't have enough time to dedicate to it because
yeah.
I run my own business, and I just didn't have time. There's so much to learn, and I just didn't feel comfortable in that car at all.
Yeah.
So it was like, we need something a little bit more simpler to work on and have the time, and that's why we went to this car here. And I really, really would like to run stock cars, like a USRA stock car. So we're kind of thinking run this one for another year and store up a bunch of parts and then turn that chassis in and bring back a stock car once they start bringing them more in our area. We're hoping.
Oh, okay.
So we'd like to do.
Well, you pretty much just answered.
There's a wheel cover.
Yeah, there's a wheel cover.
You pretty much answered my second question. Was
Didn't know that.
why have you settled in on the pure stock class? I mean, usually for most guys, it's either money or a close track to your house to race at, or just fun, just something where you can go race and have some fun. But why pure stock?
All the above, what you just said, basically, because I got to retire someday and I run my own business, so I don't want to put thousands of dollars like I used to in my street stock. I want something I can go race with, but it doesn't cost a lot of money. I got to put money back for my retirement someday, so I guess I'm being more responsible. I used to be when I was 20, so instead of blowing thousands of dollars on an engine, I'm like, well, you know what? And I really do. Is like I don't spend a bunch of money on shocks because I don't want to spend that money out of my account. So that's one reason why we're in it, and it's simple to work on. And Butler's only 25 minutes away from us.
That's what I thought. Harrisonville, I thought 25-minute drive.
Speaking of your own business, how's your dad?
Dad is doing really good. He's 83 this year. He just turned 83, and he acts like he's 60-something. He still has a job. He actually goes to the Cass County Justice Center and mows the grass out there in that place, and he goes in at 5 in the morning, gets off at 12 o'clock,
Really?
go home and take a 2 or 3 hour nap, and he comes out and helps me at the shop from like 3 to 6.
Really?
Yeah, and then he'll come out work on the race car too, and he's doing good.
Tell him I said hi.
I sure will, yeah.
What is this, 21? Next year, I'll be retired 20 years.
Wow.
And I tell people all the time, to me, the secret of retirement is have something to do each day.
Yeah.
Have a reason to get up. Have a reason to go out of the house. Because if you sit on that divan over there and watch the Olympics, like I've been doing for the last week or whatever, man, it gets to you physically and mentally after a while.
Yeah.
Now, has your mom already passed?
Mom passed away in 2019.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's another thing is, not having companionship, I think.
And he's definitely needs something to do. He actually has always been very, very active. I mean, and so that's his thing is like he can watch maybe part of a race, but he's got to go out in his garage tinker and play with it. We still got old cars and stuff that we go to, car cruises, car shows and stuff with. So, he's very active, hands-on, wants to do things with hands, build things, and it's just the way he's always been. So I don't have to worry about him doing that because if there comes a day where he doesn't want to go do something, I was like, there's something
you better
wrong.
be worried.
Yeah,
then.
I need to go. We need to go to the doctor then. So.
Yeah, you better be worried then.
So I really don't know. Do you have you yourself got a family started or?
I actually am divorced, so.
There you go, ladies.
That didn't end up so well, and dealing with the kids, and that's really hasn't turned out the best in that world. So
it's got a lot to do with chassis setup.
Is it really?
You gotta be able to point them in the right direction.
Point in the right direction,
Yeah, come on in, Daniel. We're all here. Party's here.
Hey.
But I wanted to ask you. We talked to Steve there again. You raced down at Old 71 in the old days. For you, how does it seem that the track is? Is it a whole lot different than it was before?
It is. It actually seems more round in 3 and 4. I actually raced there, and the first night that they opened the track, I hit the wall on the feature, and Troy Reasoner said, I hit so hard and bouncy, you could see my roof number, and it left bruises all over me and stuff, and it broke the axle and everything. So, that track used to kind of go up and then taper off to the wall, and you got up to it, it'd suck you in the wall every time. And so Jerry actually got it more racer-friendly to where it is rounded and you can slide the car and not worry about hitting the wall at all. And it's not as rough as it was. I remember that. And but it's definitely more racer friendly for sure. And it seems, I don't know, I know it's not actually physically wider, but it just seems wider since he put that wall up around the backstretch in 1 and 2. It just seems wider for some reason. It feels like you can race on it easier.
I'm going to ask if the wall made it any easier or more awkward.
Yeah, it did for me. It made it easier, but I had other guys said it seems like when you come off too, it seems like you float up to the wall and it's real skinny. But to me, it kind of gives me a guideline.
Well,
When I used to race there, I had a hard time going into 1-2 because there's nothing but open field out
well,
there.
see,
and
that's what
I
I
really had a
just
hard
said.
time with.
No
it, so-
reference.
Yeah,
You-
exactly.
You got no reference to
Right.
kind of like I-35.
Right.
There's no reference up there on that thing.
Right.
And
Right.
Here we go. Video.
started outside front row. Okay.
Oh man. Yeah.
Who's
this
in
race.
front of you there?
That is
Brandon.
Brandon Rice. Yeah.
We had Brandon
Yeah,
on
I
earlier
remember
this year.
Brandon,
Yeah.
right.
Oh man, he's a
And-
pretty good guy. I've never
Yeah,
met
he
him
was.
before
Yeah.
till this year. So.
I kept thinking, watching this, I thought, man, I know how fast Brandon is. I don't know who this, what is it, 59?
59. Yeah.
I thought, I don't know who this 59 is, but man, he's going to have to do something here to stay in this race.
And that's what I was thinking too. Is like if I could just get to the outside
Yeah.
and get a run on him, and if a car pulls ahead, at least I got a chance. You know,
Yeah.
just give me the chance. I'll try to run away with this thing and try to win. Maybe get a win out of this thing.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So-
You put it on him there.
Well, I don't know about that. I was kind of struggling. We actually ran too soft of a shock on the right front, and the rebound on it was way too soft. And I thought the track was going to be slicker, and the pace would actually be slower, but it wasn't. So I was hitting the turn so hard it was bouncing back in the left rear and it making it too tight in the middle of the turn. And so, especially in 3 and 4, you can see it go through the hobbles and it just kind of bounces back. And so, in order to get it to turn, it would want to snap loose on me coming out of the turn. So it just did this number the whole time. So it felt like I was hanging on for dear life. What it felt like. And I know every time it kept snapping loose, it was wearing on the right rear tire, and the car actually was fading because I could tell that tire was going away. So, but I just figured. I'm up there, and if he hasn't passed me on the bottom, I'm going to stay up here because I didn't know where to go because I could watch the E-Mod race before us, and they were on the bottom. But I was like, if I could just keep my motor wound out and keep the RPMs up, I think I might have a chance to run up front up here. So, but I knew he was there. I could hear his motor, and I knew he was there, and man.
So now
Well,
this yellow comes out.
I don't know if you know it or not, but the next night he went up to I-35 and dominated.
Yeah, I
I
saw
mean,
that.
Nobody was even close to that guy.
Yeah.
That whole race at 35.
Yeah, I actually watched
Saturday.
the video that you taped of it. So yeah, I was impressive. I was pretty
I'm
cool
sitting
watching.
wondering here if he runs the same gear there that he did here.
You know, I asked the same thing because we kind of would like to venture up there one night and go try it just to see what it's like. And I heard it's a really neat place to race. Never been there in my life, so actually up there US 36 in Bethany, never been there, so I'd like to go up and try it. So
It is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the top-notch tracks to race at in the Kansas City area. I just say it. I don't know.
Yeah.
No sense beating around the bush because it's definitely tough competition.
Yeah.
In every class.
Yeah, it looks like it every week. I guess I was talking with Jimmy Smith today, and I guess I'm getting a little finicky. It's just like I don't really want to travel like I used to when I was younger. I'd rather just go race, get back home, and be good. So I just got so much on my plate with everything. I just finding time to race seems tough.
Oh, now he's
I was
put a
gonna
bumper
say,
on you.
see,
Oh, yeah.
I was
Did you feel
beginning
him?
to think.
Oh yeah, I could feel it, and I was actually right there. I was like, okay, hopefully that launches me ahead.
I was beginning to think you had this thing really wrapped up, and then all of a sudden, here come Brandon, and I thought, no, wait a minute, I don't think this race is over.
Yeah, it really surprised me when he got next to me those few times. I just felt like I was hanging on a lot because I knew the car wasn't right, and I could feel it just fading because I was trying to make it turn. Yeah, and I was just trying. So I'm trying to find every little bit of grip I can find in this car, up there in the moisture, and even there I got too high and it went over.
Oops, you screwed up there.
But there was moisture right up next to the wall, and
oh really?
I think and it kept the motor in just a little bit of momentum. That's what helped out. I think it was kind of slick on the bottom, but that was a close race.
Yeah, it was.
I've never been in a race like that in my
Look
life.
at this.
Man.
Did you just see him a
Oh
minute
yeah,
ago?
yeah, and I could hear him too.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to outrun him all year. I've won another race back in June 18th, and I was on the bottom, and that's how I won, is run on the bottom. So, and I knew he was there, and it's like he's the guy to beat, and it's like, man, you're doing all you can do to try to stay out front, and he's coming in, and he's just like, it's like Jaws coming in on you. You're like, no, go away, and down it, and it's like I'm doing all I can do,
Look out!
Yeah.
Look out, Alex!
Yeah, and see right here, I'm just like, I'm not giving up, and I'm actually don't like to race. I like to keep my car clean. I don't like to squeeze my car in places. Right there, normally I would have backed out and tried to finish second, but I was leading that race. I'm like, I'm not giving up, man. I don't know how close our cars were. I mean, I felt like our tires were like inches apart, man, and I was just trying. And right here, I just like, I'm going for it. And I couldn't believe right here, even right there, he got ahead. And I'm just like, no, not again, not the last lap. And how the car stuck right here, I don't know, because I remember driving in there and it was banging off the chip on the box. I was trying as hard as I could go to get, and how it stuck, I don't know. And right here, I tried to square it, and then it didn't work. And I was like, okay, here we go again.
Here we go again. Oh, no, between the wires.
Yeah, side by side, and there wasn't much room at all. So, and it stuck again right here, and it got a good run off the top. And that's the only thing that really helped me was the moisture up high, because I really think if he started on the outside like I did in the feature, he probably would have won it, actually. I was just in the right groove. It worked for our cars. So. But man, I'm just really fortunate that we won that race.
Look at all the fans you got.
Yeah, no kidding. There's a lot of people really cheering.
It's been really amazing coming back down there and everybody bringing their kids up. Like, we used to watch you at Adrian. Do you remember me? I used to be in the concession stands and revisiting with people I hadn't seen for 12, 13 years. Racing with their kids. Cody Owenberg. I remember Kim being pregnant with Cody, and he wasn't even born yet, and I was racing against Bobby back then.
I was going to say something.
I would think you and Cody was about the same age.
I was going to say something earlier about you probably ran against Bobby, because that was the first time I ever remember watching Bobby Owenberg run was at Adrian.
Yeah.
And there again, talking about you being dominant down there, Bobby had his share of wins down there too.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he was the guy to beat for a long time. I mean, he used to go up the Lakeside run and come back down to Adrian and still win down there too.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. And that's when I think when we first put the dirt back on Lakeside, and we're all just amazed. Like, you don't let off the gas. You mean you drag the brake? I mean, to all of us, are like, wow, how do you do that? Because we're all a bunch of little short track racers. You let off the gas, you don't do that. And he was telling us how he raced. And I was like, that's amazing. Wow, And it was so new. That was neat. It was neat. So I didn't want to get on the roof because I was so wore out and from screaming, I was afraid I might fall off. So I just did the okay. So
look at here, Greg.
Look at that one, Greg.
Man, that's a good picture.
Yeah, look at that, man. What do you got? What do they call that with the long hair in the back?
It's my mullet, man.
Mullet. Thank you.
It's not as gray as it is now either.
Yeah, no kidding.
Is that on your Facebook page?
Yeah. Well, somewhere.
No, I sent some pictures in.
Yeah, you sent me.
My dad and I dug through some pictures real quick last night that we could find. My mom has put everything together, and they're in the attic, and we just had last second found whatever we could. So, and I was trying to think when that was, and I really don't know. But I switched to a red car, so that had to be 2002, 2001, something like that. Because when I switched to street stock from pure stock, I didn't win for anything for like 3 years there. So it took a while, but. Yeah,
Well, I'd like to have that picture if you did.
I can get you one. I can get you a copy. Yeah.
Facebook me.
Yeah, no problem.
I just posted one from Adrian today, actually.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah,
Man, Adrian meant so much to me.
it was a great track.
Me too.
I mean, my family started because of Adrian, and Glenn Portson come along, and it's like nurturing that place as a little baby.
Yeah.
Because I knew every promoter, and Bob Mooney felt like when he was a promoter that it was done. He thought, this place has had its last. And I hopped in trying to save the place, which I'm not equipped to do that. But then Glenn Portson comes down from Wisconsin visiting. And so now we all know how long that era lasted. I mean, that place got a jump start.
Yeah, it sure did.
And man, it's just like a little baby, and the baby's gone now.
Yeah.
But I've got such fond memories.
And I do too, because that's where we went on every Sunday night as a kid. That's what got me into the racing. Is Dad would take me to the races because everybody in town had a car back then.
Yeah.
So we grew up watching all the Tar Waters, Jerry and Burrow, and Steve Schindler and Alan Vaughn and Ron Bowling would come down, and Terry Smith. That's who I grew up watching.
Yeah.
And so that's what got me interested in racing, was actually going to the races with my dad, That's where I picked my number at, because you as a kid, you dream about, well, someday when I race, and I used to draw pictures, that's why I got 59. Nobody ever has that number. That's why I wanted it until Rob Muhlenberg showed up one night at the mall. I was like, oh my goodness, that's a 59. I can't believe it.
59,
So,
as a sign painter, that is about the the most unique number there is
Yeah.
that nobody wants. It's
Yeah.
like poor number 59.
You don't have to say it like that, man.
That's such a good grade.
Yeah,
I
right.
thought it was a cool number though.
Yeah, me too.
It's because it had a 5 in it.
I got a funny story. That one year we had you may have a picture up there, but we had a 59 in there. It was done the special graphic, and it kind of looked like a G I could see. And we used to go down to Wheatland at the end of the year before it was Lucas Oil Speedway, and I had to start in the back because I got a flat tire. I didn't know how to run them. They let us run late model tires on them cars, and I couldn't
Really?
remember- yeah, the D55
I remember
cruisers and
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I got a flat tire because I ran it too low air pressure, and I started in the back, and the announcer kept going in. The 5G is moving up with Alex Crawford, and I go up to pay at the window. I'm like 59 Alex Crawford, and she's like 59. I see Alex. You're the 5G car. I'm like, no, I'm 59. And it was just the font they had on the side of the car.
Oh,
I'm like,
be darned.
oh, okay. So
You know, I lettered my own cars, of course, but one time I didn't have time. So I had put a 5 on it, and I was running out of time. It was time to go to the races. I thought, well, shoot, I got some stuff already made up. I had a K that I could just stick on there, and I thought, this will work. I know 5 girls whose names start with K. So there it was, number 5K, and nobody knew who it was, and I got more respect
really,
from the other drivers, you know. They didn't know who that was, pulled up beside them. Still give Alan Vaughn crap about that all the time.
In all
That's
these
funny.
years that you've been racing, Alex, do you have a favorite win, or if it's not a win, just a favorite moment or a time in racing? You know, I always say sometimes it's not a win. Well, like this race with Brandon Friday night, man, that had to have been fun and so rewarding to know that he's already won like 5 or 6 features there,
Yeah.
and you got the win. But has there been a favorite moment in racing for you?
there's one race that sticks out the most to me, and it's not really like a favorite, but it just what happened
Yeah.
to remember. So I actually was leading the race, and we're running the high side, and they had a crash up there, and you know how they have you try to spin your tires and run through to get the
Yeah.
antifreeze off and whatever, and I knew that was up there, and we're running along, and I got in too hard, and I hit that spot. My RPMs went way up, and I went off the top of the track. And I remember all I see was lights and dust, and I remember pulling back around and to get back on the track, and I'm like in 6th place, and I'm looking to my left to make sure I didn't hit somebody, cause a crash or something. 2 guys pile up, and they threw the yellow, and I'm like, okay, so I just pulling out, and I'll have to go tailback.
Yeah.
And back then, you went to the previous lap, and they put me back up in the 1st place, and I went on and won, and I made sure I was down a couple grooves to make sure that didn't happen. Bob Brown, the flagman, come over to me, and he says, good job. I said, why'd you guys put me back up front? He said, your left front tire was still on the edge of the track, and you never stopped forward momentum. We consider that you still had forward momentum. You never caused a caution. Okay,
Oh,
and I was like,
yeah,
no
yeah,
kid, I'll take it. All right, yeah.
What the heck? Wow. Sounds
So
good to me.
that's probably one of the most memorable races.
Yeah.
Another one I had was with Robert Brown, and we raced not side by side, just nose to tail for a while. And I said, the only way I'm going to win this is hop it to the high side, and I actually passed him on the last lap on turn 4, and we didn't know who won. We both pulled down to victory lane,
Yeah.
and we waited and waited for them to come out, and they finally pointed at me and said, I
Yeah.
won it. And it must have been, I don't know, bumper or something like
Oh,
that.
really?
You know? Yeah,
Was
so-
that Adrian?
Yeah, it was Adrian too.
Also,
Yeah,
okay. Well, a lot of fun memory. You guys were talking about Adrian. I think that was back in the days, Greg, when I was very first starting the video.
Oh, really?
And I went to Adrian, and once I was down there and seen the racing, I thought, man, this place is special. I mean, it's
was.
it's
It
just a
was.
little bull ring, and
It was.
God, there were so many good racers that raced there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like a vampire. I've lived many generations, and I was trying to think what was the best era, and I think that Adrian era sticks out the most. The quality time I had
Yeah.
around racing in my life.
Yeah. Well, and to me, another thing about Adrian was it seemed like that you got a lot of the really good Southwest Missouri racers that came up there,
Right.
but yet you had guys from the city that went down there, and it was a real meeting of the minds
Exactly.
down there.
Well, you had a lot of Riverside guys that would go down there because it reminded them of Riverside,
Riverside,
and
yeah.
I think it was gone at the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had only heard of Ron Boland, and he would come up there from
Yeah.
Nevada.
Yeah.
It's like Kansas City people, Nevada's too far, you know. But when Adrian was there,
Yeah.
It was just a great location.
Well, heck yeah, it's just
Yeah.
a hop, step, and a jump past Harrisonville.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I
it
mean-
amazed me because I knew Charlie LaFollette before he built the racetrack.
Uh,
And I said, why are you picking that location? And he said, well, when you take a compass and you put it and you draw a circle around it, he says, and see the population, and you, to look at it, you wouldn't think that there would be that many people show up there, but it was packed.
oh yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was always.
Nice.
Yeah, because you know they had the parking lot, and then you had AA highway right there in front. There was cars parked down
Parked up
AA highway.
AA.
I remember that as a kid, and it's like you had to go early to go get a seat. And we actually
Absolutely.
ended up sitting, not actually sitting in the bleachers. We take our own chairs and sit down by the fence because you couldn't sit up there. There just wasn't no place to sit at all. So, but yeah, I mean, back in the day, that place, everybody had a car because they were so cheaper, and you go salvage and get parts. I mean, there was late models and street stocks and modifieds all over town. I remember that.
Yeah.
And you see guys working in their garages in the middle of town, and you know, Mike Lucan lived across the street from us. You know, the 007 car, and he'd fire his car. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Mom's
yeah.
like, "Oh, she shut that car off. I'm trying to go to sleep."
Mike, you were telling us about when you first started videoing down there. I think we should give some respect and shout out Greg Choate passed away.
No, yeah,
And he was a racer at Adrian, running pure stocks.
Yeah.
You knew him as well as
Yep.
I did. He did everybody's friend. He videoed.
Oh really?
And when he wasn't racing, he'd be running the camera. But
I'll
he
be
put
darned.
his old big heavy camera in the car. In
Oh,
the
really?
cockpit that was the early in-car camera
Yeah.
on dirt track. You
Yeah.
know, you just didn't see that very often.
Yeah.
But man, we're gonna miss him.
Yeah.
no kidding. He was one of a kind, man. He
Yeah.
was. And back to that camera thing, we always thought that thing was going to fly out of the car, you know. And he had that thing strapped down from
Yeah.
different angles, but
Yeah.
he actually made his own DVDs, and he would come down and give me DVDs of the race before.
Really?
When he didn't race, he'd tape from the stands and stuff.
Oh,
so-
be
Still
darned.
stuff
How
of
nice.
his on
Yeah.
YouTube.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'll be darned. Well, I think one of the other unique things, since we're talking about Adrian, is it's the only track I think I have ever been to where on the infield you could stand right up beside the guardrail, and actually I think if you'd have put your hand out and the driver would have put his out, you could have,
Yeah,
Yep.
it was close.
because I mean, those cars weren't any further, they were closer than Gene over there, probably about where Greg is.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
you
but
stood on
before-
the infield.
But before that, before they put, there didn't used to be guardrails. They used to
Really?
unload your car and then take your car and park it off the back stretch, and there was like big timbers right there. If I remember as a kid, and
it was really crude.
it was
at
really,
first.
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
not today's standard, not safety.
Yeah, no,
First
insurance
set of
companies would
bleachers
be going wild
Yeah.
on
With
this work.
railroad ties and planks.
Oh, really?
Who was the toughest racer you ever raced against over the years? Could you lay that title
I'm going
on
to,
somebody?
yeah, well, no, I probably get it on several people. I'd say
Okay.
Devin Irvin, Troy Reasoner, Jerry Brown was another one of them. Those guys, those were the toughest guys. Those are the guys I battled with every week. They actually made me a better driver. You know, you're only as good as those you race with,
That's
and I'm glad they
that's
were
true.
there because
I
that caused
agree.
me to work on my car and make me
Yeah.
a better driver. Just like now driving with with Brandon and Cody and the 05G, you know, when he comes up here from Springfield, that makes you work on your car
Yeah.
because otherwise I'd be lacking behind in performance. But those
Yeah.
are the guys I raced every week, and I learned a lot from them, quite a bit.
Where's
Yeah.
this at?
That's a Butler. That was on
That's
a
Butler.
Sunday afternoon, the first Sunday afternoon he had. So
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
yeah.
What's your favorite track? I mean, most usually it's the one most drivers have won at the most, but what's your favorite track?
From a driving aspect, because I haven't been a whole lot of places, I do like Adrian quite a bit. We're actually going to go try to run CMS now, and so I like, from a fan standpoint, I like going there to watch
Yeah.
so far. But I still like Adrian because I got so many memories.
Yeah.
I feel like I got a little soul tie to it. So.
Yeah, that's what
Hey,
I say. It's usually wins that determines that.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
exactly.
Greg.
Back in the day, I'm just trying to think. You showed up with the red 59. Did you race at the same time in street stocks as Alan Vaughn, or you were pure stock?
I was pure stock. He actually was in late model at that time.
Okay, you didn't get to race. He had either a pure stock or a stock street stock.
Yeah.
It was like an old Chevy Nova.
He had the Nova, and then he also had a Camaro
Right,
too.
that was
Yeah.
before you.
That was before me.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
But on the small world of it, me and Steve raced together.
Yeah.
And Steve
Tiedemann,
Tiedemann, and he actually lived down the street from me, about 5 houses down, and we would race remote control cars, Hot Wheels, bikes,
really?
whatever, when we were kids growing up. So I actually grew up the street from him.
I'll
so,
be darned.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
we actually ended up racing pure stocks together, and long time ago.
How about
so.
Steve Schindler? You didn't race with
I
him?
didn't race with him, no, but we definitely went over to the shop and would,
Yeah.
look what's going on, help with the cars.
My best
Yeah.
Adrian story, excuse me, is I raced with Steve Schindler. We had late models. We had quick changes. And I had my help change gears in my car because I was going to beat Steve that night. And my car quit running. It coasted to a stop. And I knew it wasn't out of gas because I could hit the throttle, you know. And I had to be towed to my pit area. And I'm scratching my head. And Steve comes up with a rag. And in it were a pair of quick change gears. And they were still warm. I said, Steve, he said, they're yours, dummy. I said, how did you get those? They come in the cockpit with me. I believed him, you know. But no, he just saw where they landed.
Oh, this is fun. Anyway, we have to move on. You know, I always say it takes a village behind you to get you there each week. So I'll tell you what, Alex, tell us about who these village people are.
Well, the village people is me, my dad. He's been there the whole time. I got a really good friend, Bo Sellers, and he's my pit guy every week for sure. And he comes and helps. And if you need anything, he'll go get it for you. Back in the day, it used to be my cousin Jesse Waymeyer, and then I had a friend of mine named Todd. He actually helped me when we got our first car. He's the one that taught me how to weld when we put our first car together back in the day. So if it wasn't for them guys, Verl Tarwater, I used to work at Royal Chevrolet, and he taught me, he's like, this is what spring you put in the car, this is how you put the jack up, measure underneath the right rear tire. So primitive compared to today. To teach me how to work on the car, how to make them handle, because he was running up front all the time. So if it wasn't for those guys, Steve Schindler taught me how to build 9-inch Ford rear ends. Stuff like that, you know, all the guys that just kind of helped you along the process. But those guys stick out the most to me, and when I needed help, they were there for me. So. But Dad's obviously, he's the rock solid guy.
The rock
solid.
solid.
The whole time. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, Alex, I appreciate you coming up and sitting in with us. We love having people here in the studio with us because it seems just, to me anyway, it's more personable, and people can actually see your face and reactions and stuff, you know, that we have. But thanks for coming up from Harrisonville to be with us, man. It's been a ball.
Oh, it's been fun. I appreciate. I'm honored to be on the show. I've seen it for years, and my small story real quick. But we were at CMS, and you had no idea who I was, and we were actually standing in line, and I was watching your videos, and this probably been 3 years ago, and you said, I just turned around, I was like, hey, Mike, I appreciate what you're doing for the racing guys, and what you're doing on the videos. I get to watch to see what's going on, and so I'm building a car, and I was getting ready to build that E-Mod, and I was like, so when I go race, I can come back home and see what's going on in the world, and he's like, yeah, and you're like, well, where are you going? I said, I'm going to run at Valley and whatever. He said, well, maybe someday we'll have you on the show. Have you ever heard of the works? I'm like, yes, I have. Today is the day.
When I walked down into Victory Lane to get your phone number, you know, you said, hey, Mike, how you doing? And I thought, he knows me.
Everybody knows you. What are you talking about?
He knows me.
You're famous, man. You guys are famous. Everybody knows you guys.
At least he didn't tell you to get your damn camera out.
Yeah,
of his
no
car.
kid, not like Alan Vaughn did. I had an in-car camera in his car, and he just had a really bad night at Nevada, I think it was. About hit a cameraman on the infield, pulls back into the pits, gets out of that car, and he says, get that damn camera out of my car. Oh, okay. But whatever.
Yeah.
Blame it on somebody or something. But anyway, thanks for taking some time out.
Thank
we
you,
really
guys.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
It's been a
sure
ball.
good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question. See that our next guest, do you know Daniel Lee Harris?
I have seen him race on video and on TV several times, and he's really good, by the way, from what I've seen.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or if he resembles any current big-time late model driver, who would you say?
Well, I'd say he'd be a mix probably between Overton, Superman.
Yep.
I'm trying to get my head big.
Looks
Well, we're
like
just talking
Jonathan
about-
It's like
Davenport.
Jonathan Davenport, but a little
Yeah.
bit of the Overton body, just a little bit. Yeah,
Looks like a late model driver.
he does.
Come on up and join Daniel. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, man.
Enjoyed
That
seeing
was
you,
fun.
buddy.
That was fun. Good to see you guys.
See you, Alex. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, Daniel Lee Harris, good to have you back on the show.
Yeah, it's been a couple years.
Has it?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I can't keep track.
Mountain Dew Rise.
Yeah. You gotta support Darren Fuqua, right?
Yeah.
Is that his deal now?
Yeah. He got that sponsorship that the USMTS
Oh,
does
okay.
with,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, that how Casey sponsors a USMTS.
That's the first time I've seen one in person.
You know, they're pretty good, really.
Is it an energy drink, or just
They say it
It
is.
says energy
Okay.
on it.
wondering? I've never tried those. I think I usually have enough energy without them. Although as I get older, it seems like my stamina and whatever is not what it used to be, because I was one of those guys like Alex was talking about his dad. Even right now, you know, I'm sitting here listening to Alex. I've got things I do 4 days a week. I race these on Wednesdays. Well, of course, Tuesday night I've got to do maintenance. Wednesday I race. Thursday's the show. Friday and Saturday are races. So I've got 4 days a week that I'm
Go, go, go.
go all over the place and doing stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, racing RC cars is a full-time occupation.
No, I didn't say occupation. But it does take, well, and the bad part about it is when I go, I usually take 6.
Oh, well, it is
I
a
race 6
full-time
classes.
occupation then.
Yeah, I race 6 classes when I go. But anyway,
Oh, this is exciting already.
from your response Saturday, it looked like this race meant a lot to you, Daniel. I mean, what exactly was the deal that this was so high on your list, this race?
Just, I hate to say it, but at the end of the day, just a B mod driver moving up to an A mod, and it was pretty, how do you say it? It's got a lot of heavy hearts on my family right now. I hate to say it, but my middle-aged sister got diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and
Oh my.
our family's just at that point. We're just making memories, and I've just always been a busy guy, and it's always been hard to make family time outside your, you know, my new family I'm in the making of. And last few weeks, my sisters came. I guess it was like 3 weeks ago. I led them all. I led most of them, and Houston Johnson got by me with 3-4 to go, and she was there. And then last weekend, you know, I started third and ended up pulling off our first victory, and my sister was there, and it was just family meaning more than anything.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
There's just a lot more to it than just that, but you know, that's kind of the primary reason, you know, that she was there to celebrate a win, but a really big win, you know.
Right.
Your first victory in a USRA A mod against some hard people, you know.
Yeah.
You got Stephen Byers Jr., Lee Hibner, Darren Shaw. Houston Johnson's been.
Yeah, they've been holding their own, both of them boys.
Yeah, Houston's been real fast this year, and seems like every week, if somebody's gonna pass me, it's gonna be Houston. I was like, damn.
Come on, what's up with that? Yeah, no, that I meant what I said a while ago. It's definitely one of the top tracks in the area, and the competition up there. Greg, I know you can't get up there on Saturdays on the
But
Calvin
I've been there, and I know
Valley.
what you're saying.
But man, I tell you what, that's some tough racing up there.
I mean, Mike pours his heart and soul into giving all of us racers a good racetrack. A lot of guys want to be hammered down and hold the right foot down, and I think more people anymore would rather a slick, smooth, racy surface, you know. And Mike tries to give everybody what the racers want, you know.
But you got to keep in mind keeping dust out of people's eyes too. So you've got a lot to balance.
Yeah, I mean everybody that complains about it, I like to see them go, and I'm not just talking. I like to see them go prep a racetrack.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Oh, tell me about it.
I mean, a lot of guys don't understand what dirt does and how it does it and when it's going to do it. You know.
That's like when I get some complaints about my videos. Now, I have said it online before. I've said, hey, I'll tell you what, meet me at the track next week and I'll give you a camera.
You damn right.
I'll give you a
know,
camera.
I
Let's
mean,
see what you do.
at the end of the day, Mike can't control which way the wind blows
Yeah.
and how it blows it, and
Right.
you know, I think on a muddy hammer down track too, it blows dust. But
Yeah,
what do I know?
yeah,
Does
absolutely.
it say
Well,
on the nose, does that say Sugar Creek?
Sugar Creek Insurance, Justin Mitchell. He's out of Cameron, Missouri.
Yeah.
Justin's been with me 2, maybe 3 years.
mhm.
Now this picture, is this the A-Mod experience?
Yep.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, like I say, you mentioned Hibner and Bowers, but like I say, just two of the guys in this field, I mean, that could win that thing. But I wanted to ask you, I don't know if you talked to him after the races or not, but did Hibner use up his tires running up on top? Because it seemed like he dropped back to probably about 4th place in that race.
And
he loves to run up there.
Man, yeah, he's one of them guys that loves moistures. He's got a big horsepower motor, and he loves just to rip the top. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's something up there to grab, we all might as well just go back to the pits because he's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it cleaned off quite a bit up there. I think it probably cleaned off a little bit quicker than he was anticipating.
Uh-huh.
But I seen I can't remember if it's a B-Mods, but I can't remember. But I was noticing down in 1 and 2 the top was going away, and it was going away in a hurry.
Well, and
Who's this on in the 23?
That'd be Adam Cates. He'd
Okay.
be one of them that runs quite a bit with the USMTS guys.
Yeah.
yeah, I can't remember. We had a driver on here a week or 2 or 3 or 4 ago that said something about that supposedly the standard theory for I-35 was run low in 1 and 2 and run high in 3 and 4.
Don't ever count your days out where it's going to be at. I mean, I've won some races on the top, I've won some races on the bottom, and I've won some races on the middle. I think Mike does the best he can to give everybody a good racing surface.
You've just got to find out where the
I mean,
spot is.
it's not the track, it's your car. You got to figure out what your car wants, where it wants it, and try to move it around, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, if there's a big cushion up there, yeah, anybody can just slide up into it and let her ride.
Let her rip. Who is this young man here?
That is my youngest little man.
Yeah,
Oh,
That is Mr. Bentley.
Mr. Bentley.
how old is he?
He is 5.
Yeah.
He just turned 5 the 4th of July this year.
There were some cute pictures on there. I don't know if it was him or another, because you have another boy also, right?
Yeah, a few pictures ago, Carson was up there. He was changing a tire.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, Carson's really been able to dig in there, and I
Yeah.
let him change a quick change gears, and he
Uh-huh.
helps me get tires on and off the car. And
Oh wow, that's neat. The one that I was talking about was it was a picture of a tractor with a mower on it, and he had a little tractor, Greg, that looked just like that one.
it was probably Bentley.
John Deere, I think.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's-
pretty neat.
His grandpa's a farmer, so
Oh.
My cousin liked tractors and I liked race cars. I can relate.
How many years has it taken you to get to this point, Daniel?
So my first year, I raced a B-Mod, and then second year,
Now, did you have any racing experience before that?
no.
None whatsoever.
Nope. I rode 4-wheelers and some dirt bikes,
Yeah.
but didn't ever really race them or anything.
Yeah.
So I started out in a B-Mod.
With good equipment.
It was average. I mean, I actually bought it from Paige Shaw, and Paige Shaw won in that car, I believe. I believe
she
that's
did.
a car.
She did pretty
she's
good.
the one.
She was in the points run up there, if I
Yeah.
remember right.
I just thought it was going to be way easier than it is. Oh, I can do this. I can tear a lot of shit up.
Paige Lapine, I
Yep,
believe, was
yep.
her maiden name, if I remember
Yep.
right. I see her every once in
Lappin.
a while up there.
Lappin, Lapine.
Lappin Lapine.
No.
But anyway.
So you had to change the seat.
Oh, well, maybe a few inches.
Yeah, she's a little bitty thing, as I recall. Little bitty. But
No, I had to get a smaller seat.
You did? No. Can't, not possible. Was there a person in the beginning that just was one of those people that said, hey, Daniel, you know, you can do this. I think you can work at it. All you got to do is figure it out, or somebody that was there to answer all the questions that you had?
A lot of people told me I tore shit up. But Chad Clancy, of course, every interview I'm on, I always have to say him. He's probably been my main go-to guy. You know, since day one. I mean,
Really? Yeah.
I mean, Chad, you know, he is my cousin, and
Oh, okay.
I wondered the relationship.
yeah,
Now that's you inside second row there, I think, in
Yep.
third place.
Yeah, third.
And that's Lee Hibner on top, Greg and Stephen Bowers Jr. there on the bottom in 77.
What a pair to race against.
Well, they had a heck of a race the week before.
that's Stephen Bowers, man.
I would
really?
already.
I like the shit out of that guy. He is fast.
I would,
That's his IMCA car too.
Yeah.
I would count you out right now.
I counted myself out. I'm not gonna lie about it.
I'm trying to think, how in the world does this happen?
Yeah, because they just look like, as you might say, a pun here, but off to the races.
Yeah, you know, my car was stumbling down around the bottom when I would go to
Yeah.
get in the
There's
corner.
the problem.
Yeah. No, I'll take that. Last weekend, I'll take it. And, yeah, my car was just stumbling down around the bottom real bad.
Now, when you say stumbling, you mean the motor?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Wouldn't respond.
Because the
It
way
was just
I,
like cutting in and out.
yeah, because the way I felt about this race here, Daniel, actually, to be perfectly honest, was I thought here early on, I thought you started following Steven, and I thought, as the race went on, I thought, man, he picked up his line here. He sees what he's doing here. Because to me, you started hanging on the bottom there, and you started running with him.
Yeah, it's kind of pretty crazy, really. I don't have Race Pass Live. I get in my head enough as it is, so that's the last thing I really need to do is be paying attention to live timing.
Uh-huh.
But my buddy has it, and I from lap 1 to lap 20, I don't think I ever changed 0.2 of a second.
Really? They just got slower.
Bowers, you're
Of course.
not-
I
Steven.
just stayed that consistent.
Yeah.
Like my lap times from lap 1 to lap 20 was that consistent.
Wow.
Man, that's what you want there. Consistency, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, always wins races.
There he is. He's done.
No, he had a right front tire.
I think it was
down.
right front, yeah.
Went down. If
I think Chris
right.
Mercer got by me.
Yeah? I'll be darned, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Now let me get this straight. This is your first A-Mod race.
Win.
No, this is
Win.
my first A-Mod win. I looked today, we have 16 A-Mod starts.
There you go. That is all this season.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
been 16 races completed.
I think 13 at 35. I think it went down to Humboldt once, Lucas Oil twice, and I've been down in Nevada.
Yeah. I was
Or
thinking
Butler,
seen you.
71 Speedway. Sorry.
One of those, I seen you there somewhere.
Uh-oh, is that you?
No.
No. One thing about it, Steven is always on the charge.
That dude's fast, man.
I mean, it's unreal that he can do this with an IMCA car. Just absolutely unreal.
I just honestly think that just shows you how close they really are. I mean, you
Must
don't
be.
need 600-700 horsepower
Uh-huh.
on these little tracks. I mean, look at the heat race. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the heat race, but Steven came from dead last to second last weekend in the heat race.
Yeah, no, I was on my way from Bethany.
Yeah, and
I
it
hadn't
was
got there
pretty
yet.
tacky.
And that horsepower comes in handy, doesn't it?
That's what I mean. You know, Steven came from last to second with the 604 crate last weekend in the TAC.
Yeah.
I don't have no big motor. I really
Yeah.
don't.
Like I say, to me, in this part of the race here, it's just like we traded the 77 for the 07.
Yeah.
You're running the same line he was running, and Lee's up there blasting the cushion.
Yeah. within the next lap or so, Lee or Bowers gets back to second
Uh-huh.
or third, and I just slowly
There's
just
Bauer.
was like seeing me come back to Lee. You know, I seen Lee
Uh-huh.
coming back to me,
Uh-huh.
and when I seen that, I'm just like, okay, well, something must be going right.
Uh-huh.
You know, I don't know if
Yeah.
he's just up there blowing his tires off or if you
Yeah.
know. But it was definitely a good race. It was definitely fun.
So you focused entirely on Hibner right now?
Right there's your first lap lead there.
I mean, do you know Bowers is back there?
In my mind, yeah, but did I know? No.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to know he's coming.
I was waiting for Houston Johnson too.
You're out.
What happened to Ed Knoll, by the way? I noticed he didn't even come out for the feature.
I think he broke a motor.
Oh my. Oh,
I hate even saying them words.
yeah.
Yeah, it's ugly.
I hate to say that against my worst enemy. I mean,
Man, you're down there so low you're kicking up dust.
See, look at this. Just like within 2 laps there, you're a good, well, I'd say 8-10 car lengths
See
ahead
if you
of
go
Lee.
that same route again. Is there traction down there?
I don't know what was down there. It just felt right. I mean, down here in 1 and 2, just a little bit above where I'm running, there's a rut. That
Uh-huh.
rut was pretty deep.
Is that the one that the outs rolled over in?
I don't know.
'Cause
I
it was right in that spot.
Yeah, I didn't
there.
really see that. I mean,
Yeah.
I just seen everybody going crazy.
But I honestly thought, other than Steven being on the top, which he doesn't usually run, I thought, well, I don't know if he can catch him up there or not. Because Daniel's got his line.
You
Yeah,
made
I
that
just-
your own.
I just stuck with what was going, you know.
Yeah. Till somebody proves you different.
Yeah, I
ride,
mean,
ride the horse that got you.
yeah. I mean, that's the main thing, just staying, hitting your marks.
Uh-huh.
And just the car, you know, look at the car. It just stays so, stays
What chassis
so
is
straight.
that?
I was gonna say while we're talking about it.
That's a Vanderbilt.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
And who's doing the motors?
That motor I bought from Darren Shaw that Cameron put together.
Oh,
Jim
really?
Cameron.
Man, that guy still builds some good
Yeah.
stuff.
And that's just a still-headed flat tappet IMCA legal motor.
Really?
Yep. I don't have spec heads on it or nothing. That's what I mean. I mean, we've done really well this year so far. I have
Mhm.
nothing to hang my head about at all
Yeah.
right now.
Where are you in the points, Daniel?
One more lap.
I'm setting second. I think I seen this week on 35 they may post. I'm 63 points behind Houston.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of racing left up there.
Yeah, there are 16 races. There's probably 16 more,
Yeah, yeah.
at least.
I'm not even really worried about the points right now.
Yeah, don't even think about it.
You know, I did that a few years ago, and that ended up as a disaster.
Uh-huh.
I'm just having a blast right now. I don't know if you've seen Bobby Shaw down there.
Uh-uh.
She's pretty excited. So
I wish I'd have finished this up here,
yeah, I do too.
but I told you why.
Man,
I,
you were
yeah.
just
didn't-
dying to do a donut or something there, weren't you?
Man,
The only-
I was so excited.
The only thing is you were behind the flag stand.
Yeah,
Probably couldn't
yeah, I
have
see
seen
that
it
now.
anyway.
And then the picture Lisa took that I seen today, it looked like I was way over from it. But I guess that's just where she shot it.
Well, it could have been the angle I was
But I'm
at.
so excited that Lisa got that picture. I seen it this morning.
Uh-huh.
I never know when I'm coming and when I'm going to work, and
Uh-huh.
I don't know what time it was. It was 3-4 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
My little cousin sent it to me, and
Yeah.
of course I have to jump on Facebook and look at it. I'm like, yes, that's bad. And I've never been the one to react like that when
Yeah.
you know, I've won, I don't know how many B-mod races. Some, never enough.
Yeah. Man, that had to feel good.
Oh, that one's right up there.
I mean, just the fact Stephen Bowers Jr.'s in that and him
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
you beat him.
It's hard to, with that first year of Bud Wilson's memorial race, there wasn't another race that I didn't want to win more than that one, and Mike Striegel was there and Lonnie Hibner.
I went green to checkered leading that one.
Mhm.
But this last weekend's win and that one's definitely.
Hey man, them A-Mod guys know who you are now.
I'm just nobody. I'm just
Yeah, they're going
just somebody trying to have a little fun in life.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a win like this can kind of breathe new life into a race team and you know what happens for the rest of the season. So like you say, you've got to be fairly optimistic looking forward, but are you just one of those people that you just take 1 week at a time and, like you say, don't project?
Man, last year taught me that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now we're just having fun, and we're not worried about the next week and the week after that. We're just taking week by week and just realistically having fun. We're learning. That's what we're doing right now in the
Yeah.
AMOD deal.
Yeah.
You should have learned a lot from that race.
Yeah. I bought that car from a guy named Brad Waits up in Minnesota, and him and I just became pretty good buddies.
Yeah.
Realistically, never met the guy in person.
Uh-huh.
I was in Louisiana working last year, and a couple of my buddies went up to Minnesota to pick it up, and just Brad and I stayed in contact the whole time, you know, ever since he sold it to me, and
Uh-huh.
we did a lot of talking back and forth, and his help, you know, and that's a hell of a race car. So we're just definitely having fun with it right now.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
just learning.
MB Custom seems to be on the top of the ladder right now as far as modified chassis. I'd say they seem to be the hot item right now. Well, who else would you put on the list?
Oh, I just think it's a monkey see, monkey do kind of thing, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think every race car is built out of the same tubing. Not necessarily out of the same tubing, but they're all on a stub and they're all tubing. At the end of the day, I think a race car is just figuring the balance point in a race car.
Yeah.
And this A-Mod deal has taught me a lot with what a balance really means in a race car, of being consistent and not changing a bunch of stuff. A lot of people don't understand this A-Mod. I've changed 2 bars 1 time on it. Other than that, I've put fuel and tires on it.
Wow.
That's all I've ever done to this race car.
Goodness
And
gracious.
I'm just surprised a woman named Gloria Vanderbilt knows how to build a race car. She did a pretty good job.
Yeah. I definitely got a lot of good people behind me, you know, with this deal. You know, Brad Waits for sure, Darren Shaw, JD Gresham.
Yeah.
JD's the one that actually builds the Vanderbilt chassis, does all the fab work on them.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, him and Zach's together on that deal.
So their shop is Minnesota? Wisconsin? Where did you say?
I bought the car from a guy named Brad Waits. That's a 2018, but JD Gresham builds them, and he's in Iowa.
He's in Iowa.
Yeah, I think he said he lives like an hour and a half away from Vanderbeek.
I know where Vanderbeek is at. There's a lot of race car builders up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bunch of them I agree with. Well, I'm just wondering, this is the B-Mod, by the way, Greg, with Shadron Turner there.
I
You
figured.
figure that
Oh
out.
yeah. Whole shad,
So
man.
this was last year. And he's even better this year than he was last year.
That is probably one of the cleanest racers anybody could ever race with.
Shadron? Yeah, Shadron.
He is a good dude.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, was there anything in particular about the track that just really seemed to suit the way your car was set up or your driving style or anything that one particular night?
Last weekend?
Yeah.
I mean, there was some moisture down there to get a hold of, and I've been telling Darren all along this year, I was like, the day I get a little bit of moisture down there to grab, it's going to be my thing.
Be your chance to do it.
Don't tell
Looks
Mike
like-
Johnson I said that. He won't put no more water down there. He'll put it-
Looked to me like you was grabbing where there weren't no moisture.
I mean, there was just a little bit to grab down there. I mean, it almost kind of looked about like where Shadron is right now, you know?
You had that little darker color, not black.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, what is this picture?
That would have been, I believe, second place points. Was that 18? Back in 18? 19?
Yeah. At 35?
At 35.
Right. I guess that's your track of choice.
Man, I love racing, so I'll go anywhere I have the opportunity to go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I would call I-35 home, but I mean, they're all fun. You
Yeah.
know? If I have an opportunity and I can go somewhere to race, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go race.
I think I-35, that location from there north, they're about all the same. They're more blacker dirt, and even at the IMCA, USRA, like they got in Iowa, they're just similar. It's like if you do good there, go on up into Iowa.
Yeah, I do want to get. I do want to run up on a Sunday to Mason City.
Oh, really? They race
Yeah.
on Sunday?
Yeah, they race on Sunday. So
How far is that up there?
I think it's like 4 hours.
Oh, wow, okay.
I just need to try to find a late start to work Monday.
Can I come in on second shift?
So this is the B mod,
Yep,
and what chassis was it?
that's a shawl.
A Larry Shaw.
Yep.
You still have it?
Nope.
Were you happy with it while you had it?
When it didn't crash.
Right.
That's the one. That's the car I took the fly in
Yeah.
At I-35?
at CMS.
CMS.
Okay, that crash. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, it should be coming up. I think it was on your Facebook page, if I remember right, and I thought,
So
boy,
was that the end of the car?
With me, yeah. I think you could have probably re-stubbed it. The fly and the landing didn't hurt the car as much as that stupid tractor tire.
yeah.
I mean, that tractor tire did all the damage on the right front. It
Yeah, I
buckled
bet.
it all back. But then when I went up and came down, I came down like on the left front. The roll cage didn't get hurt, and really nothing on the left front got hurt.
Huh.
It broke a shock in the upper A-arm, but I didn't really see any damage in it.
Little family photo. Is that now mom and dad, I presume?
That is my wife's parents and
Wife's
her
parents.
brother
Okay.
and our shitlins.
And all the little ones there.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother-in-law just had his first baby a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So you've got 3.
I have 3.
And the little guy is the one that was playing with the tractor.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you were saying Louisiana. Do you travel to work quite a bit?
yeah. Well, back since '05, I've chased all these stupid hurricanes.
Oh, okay.
And just a little over a month, I got a job at Concrete Placement, running a concrete pump truck.
Uh-huh.
And I say I hang my storming life up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride this deal out, and
Uh-huh.
just it's a good career for me.
Did you go to after Hurricane Michael? Did you go to North Florida?
Man, I've been so many places chasing them things. I've been up the East Coast and all across the Gulf of Mexico, down through Florida and everything else.
Wow.
Katrina was my first one right out of high school
Oh,
back
man.
in '05, and I've pretty much chased them since.
Yeah.
And that's a good picture. Is that Lisa's?
Oh, I would have.
Yeah. Something photos there.
No, that's
action
that
photos.
Dan Actions photos.
Yeah.
I think he takes a lot of photos up at like 36. I've seen him at 35 and stuff.
Huh.
But yeah, that's
I'm
a cool
trying to figure
picture.
out what in the world you'd be looking at.
The flag, man. Playing the
Yeah.
national anthem.
Yeah,
I mean, it's in a corner. Oh, you're on a back stretch looking
yeah.
over to Flagman, or at the crowd.
Well, I think there was a flag in the middle of the infield there at 35.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
If I
that's
remember
an exceptional picture to even see your eyes.
Yeah, it's a cool picture.
Yeah.
It is.
He sent that to me, and I'm like, well, that's awesome.
Yeah. Pretty neat.
Yeah, that's my favorites when you carry an American flag. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
I agree.
that
I mean,
rates
at
up
the-
there with the checkered.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, forget all the politics and everything that's going on crazy in the country. Just we all need to be thankful for what we do have,
Exactly.
and not worry about the bullshit.
I
That's
agree.
all it is. It's bullshit. In my opinion, I mean.
Yeah, I agree. Whatever. Well, Daniel, I appreciate you coming on. 2-timer now, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're, right up on the list there.
Yeah.
First one wasn't so glorious.
Yeah.
Because I think that was right after that.
No, the first time I was on was first win down at Valley.
Oh, really?
I think it was in that car
Yeah, I
that
remember
year.
that.
Yeah, I kind of miss going down to Grain Valley.
Well, I
really.
miss you too, because you made things exciting.
Yeah.
That's really thick paper, Greg. You'll never get it
I
apart.
see.
Grain Valley, the track itself is definitely a blast to race. You know.
Absolutely.
We've changed the King of Kansas City as a sprint car race now.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Now, is that sanctioned by anybody, or is that open?
Power Iron War.
Oh.
I don't know. There may be modifieds the same night too.
Oh. So
I was gonna say the King of Kansas City deal. I wanted to go down there the last 3-4 years, and I think Mother Nature's beat them to the punch on that deal, and they were never able to reschedule it. So.
Tell you what, it's been so sketchy last few years.
Oh, I mean.
And with the sprint cars at least, and with other sanctions, there's people following so many points to different racetracks and stuff. It's really that's what our problem is at Valley with the sprint cars. And then he's got these Northern Sport mods now, so next year they'll have to be the same IMCA. Some of the B mods have been running there.
Right.
But
Yeah, how's it been going? I mean, fairly competitive?
yeah. There's no difference between a sport mod and a B mod.
Yeah.
I don't see any problem at all.
Yeah, they've changed the
Not
IMCA
now.
quite a bit.
Not now,
like.
since mostly IMCA can groove their tires. You know,
Right.
they can needle them. I guess I've never been the one to race on a hockey puck. Still will be, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, they're right up there. They might have a little bit of more advantage, you know, now that they can groove their tire plus that 5-inch blade.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll be darned.
There's a lot to be said for on the tire issue.
no, yeah.
That's a game changer.
Yeah. Bobby Lane's had an interesting thing on there about tires on Facebook this week. Last 2 days of tires that they're running in the Midwest Lightning Sprints. But boy, tires are the name of the game. It's the same way.
And
with
they're
these.
hard to get. There's a shortage right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a shortage with a lot of things.
Yeah.
I do think that a lot of the vendors are doing a smart thing, though, and they're allowing a person to only buy 4 at a time. So given, you know, the big dollar guys, they can't go in there and swoop them all up every time somebody gets tires. You know, they're trying to spread it out and make it a little more
fair for everybody. For the weekly
which
racers.
hands down on them guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because.
Well, I hope they do, because we got to have our local racing. To me, that's the heartbeat of racing in this country is the local racing. You can say whatever you want to for the traveling series, as much as people like to go watch them, but the real heart of racing in this country is the local tracks.
No, yeah.
And when you start playing with them, you're messing with fire. You'll ruin the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you mess that up, is the way I feel.
Traveling
about it.
series tonight. Sprint cars are at Sedalia.
Yeah.
At All Stars.
Yeah. And I think they've got the MWRA or somebody running with them.
Yeah. It would have
If I
been a
remember.
good place to go, but I
Yeah.
decided to come here because you had such good guests.
At least the first 2 guys, right?
You were too, man.
Well, you're on the level though with these late model drivers. You got the looks, you know.
Shit.
Hey, an A mod is almost the same thing as a late mod.
Oh man, I mean they're just
They're top notch.
top notch, just a little below.
And
I do want to try to hit a USMTS show, you know, before it's
too
late this year, just see if I can qualify,
Uh,
see if I can make the show with them. That'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Did you get to mention your sponsors? Did we do that?
no, not yet.
Go ahead. Tell us about that.
You definitely got the Simmons Sales teams, Remax out of Excelsior Springs, Justin Mitchell with Sugar Creek, Advanced Construction, Brad White at Valor Racing, Chad Clancy, Darren Shaw. Darren's done my wraps, you know, ever since I started racing. Man, it's hard to remember all of them. Superior Dent out of Waverly now. He just moved. He's been with me for quite some time. Kansas City Tree Care, they're a new one that I picked up this year.
What's that one that the flag's covered in that?
Well, that one will be Flick Farms. That's my in-laws. I definitely gotta give a big shout out to Colin, Cody, and Kojak for always helping me in the shop getting things done.
Excuse me.
It's hard sometimes to.
Yeah, boy, I can't.
It's hard to remember them all, but I'm definitely grateful for everybody that's ever helped me, you know, do this deal. My mom, that's a huge one, you know. I better.
Oh, yeah.
you know, my wife for letting me do it, you know.
Absolutely.
And,
Couldn't do it without them.
No, it's just, it takes a lot to make this deal what it is. I'm definitely grateful for everything.
Absolutely. I
Valley
understand.
Racing with Brad White, I believe I said that.
Yeah.
He's helped me a ton. You know, I hate to forget anybody.
Don't feel bad. I would not have remembered most of what you've already said. If it was me.
BFD, you know, BFD Fab Shop, you know, Nate's done my bumpers and
Mhm.
anything I've ever needed, Nate's always been there for me too.
BFD Fab Shop, is he not a fabricator of race cars much?
He does a lot of like bodies, bumpers, won't say small jobs, but
But he
you know,
does other things.
yeah, he has a full-time job. He's a plumber by day. He likes
I
laying
see.
the pipe.
I'll be darned.
So it's just the little deal to try to make a little extra income
Mm-hmm.
out of his shop there he has, but he's definitely supported my racing and has always helped me.
Well, it's hard to find anybody to fabricate anything anymore.
Yeah, it just seems like everything's so busy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so many people have went out of business. I think it's kind of
Yeah.
put more business into these businesses that have survived
Yeah.
to be able to carry on and do that. But anyway, Daniel, I appreciate you coming down and sitting in with us. It's always a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
congratulations on this win, man.
Yeah,
the
thank
first
you.
one.
I appreciate it. I hope we can pick a few more off, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just, like I said, we're just going to go week by week on this deal and
Right. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
just
Have fun. Just have fun.
Just have fun and
No
consistency.
stress.
Yeah.
I'm not stressed at all. You know, I definitely did live this deal up all week, but it's time to brush her off and get back into the shop and
Yeah.
finish up the car, you know.
Yeah.
I usually drag my feet on Sundays to wash it, but I couldn't drag my feet Sunday morning. I had to get her put up in the shop and put the trophy on it for a week. So it's definitely been fun this week.
Oh, I bet. Good time. And I'm glad that your sister got to be able to see that.
Yes.
That's a special moment right there.
Yep.
it is.
We're just going to make memories as we go and
Yeah.
just value life because you never know what tomorrow brings for anybody, period.
No,
You know,
absolutely. Speaking on that note, Greg Spillman,
Yeah.
how can I say that? You'll be missed.
Yeah. Certainly.
And plus, talking with Curtis, of course, Leroy and Curtis both have worked somewhat out at Greg's shop out there in Grain Valley. And they're kind of in a holding pattern right now. They don't know whether or not that's going to continue on. So, and I think did he tell me 35 employees out there?
Yeah, that was a big operation.
And,
Spillman, not too many people know this, but
okay.
Spillman went down and purchased all the equipment and everything from what used to be Dirt Works before this happened.
Mm,
And they also purchased some RVs because he's in the
Yeah.
RV business.
right.
So it's exceptionally difficult for everybody there.
Mm-hmm.
And they need our prayers as well as your sister. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I say, I had to mention Greg because it's kind of a close, and I only met him once down at Old 71, I think, this year.
Yeah.
And the only time I ever talked to him, but of course I knew the name. Used to race at I-70, right?
I remember him well from I-70, and he was, according to my sources, he was heavy in his church and was a youth director. or
Oh, really?
something. So
Okay.
he was a great person.
Yeah. COVID, folks. Died from COVID. I won't profess anything or say anything other than COVID. I'll leave it at that.
Well, that was definitely related to the COVID.
Yeah, definitely. But, Greg, you got anything you want to sum up here tonight?
I wonder who wins it today. But we'll find that out when
Well,
I
I
get
haven't-
home and start Googling.
I haven't found out who won at I-70 yet. Who won out there?
Guess Brian Brown, guess who?
Did he really?
Yeah. Yeah, he sure did.
I'll be darned. Whip the boys from Ohio.
And I didn't go out there, but they had to have a support class.
Yeah.
didn't Did
Well, they had
have-
MWRA, didn't
Did
they?
they? I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, non-wing sprints.
And then there's talk of vintage cars going out there. Is that not this weekend?
I have no
What is
idea.
the-
I know
think it's-
nothing about that.
There's another event or two out there this year.
Yeah.
So
I am just not real in tune with I-70 as to what's going
Oh.
down.
Got an interest from a guest for next week. We talked about Old 71 was big on the plate. Mike Parker's about ready to spill his beans,
Spill the
about
beans,
what
huh?
he's going to do there. And,
Oh, good.
and
Possibly next week we may have
possibly
him on the
next
show.
week he may be here to shed some light on
Oh,
it.
that would be fantastic.
I haven't personally spoken to Jerry Brown. I do know that he's got immediately an offer, and he took it up at Bolivar.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how that affects the idea of fall races out there. So
Mhm.
Parker will be able to shed some light on that next week.
Okay, good. That'd be great.
71 done for the year, or they have
No.
like some fall deal they're gonna do, or
They're
something?
going to have a fall series also.
Is that gonna be USRA as well, or?
That's
That's
what's
up
up
in
in
the
the air. Nobody knows because Mike
really?
hasn't really.
Mike Parker and
Said
Jerry
that.
Brown will have to agree on what's going to happen there, because there may still be a lease involved. But anyway, it's all good, man.
Yeah, it's all racing.
Butler's going to get more facelift.
Yeah,
Parker says he will spend some money on it.
yeah, I bet he will, knowing Mike.
Yeah.
He'll do it upright. I give Mike credit to him. He does it right. I guarantee you.
Biggest thing is don't support one local racetrack, support them all, because
Exactly.
I agree.
that's my theory of it. Every time you got the opportunity, no matter what it is, don't talk down on the racetrack unless you're racing that racetrack.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. With you 100% there.
That's all I can say.
Well, and each one has its little niche in racing. I don't care what it is. They all have their niche. And, you know, a following or non-following, however you want to do that. And it's just good for the racing community to have them, I think.
I
be
mean,
there.
everybody's biggest downfall is about I-35's time.
Yeah,
I think more times than not this year we've been done by 11 o'clock.
yeah.
We were done right at 10 o'clock last week.
I was gonna
That's
say,
saying a lot for the car count. that
yeah,
he
I
gets.
think
Last week was a little low, but
85, 85 cars.
shoot, 2 weeks before that he had 164 cars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the tracks were closed.
You know, and
Most of the other tracks were all closed.
Yeah.
There was only one running on Saturday.
but you look at all the racetracks last week and nobody had a big car count.
Mm-mm. No, probably
I
not.
mean, I think I heard CMS had like high 60s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Lakeside last Friday night, I don't think they had very many as well.
Heat wave.
I would like to hopefully think that's what it is, you know. But everywhere you go, you just be thankful to race at the end of the day. That's
Yeah,
Exactly.
you know.
absolutely. No, I agree. And that's kind of the way we feel here, too. There's got to be a racing show here in Kansas City.
Just-
So we'll take the honor of trying to do that for you. But, folks, if you enjoyed the show, I hope you will call a friend, tell somebody, start a watch party, let them know what's going on. And if you don't like the show, we understand, because we probably didn't have your favorite driver on this week. You know, and our audience changes every week because we never, seems like hardly ever have the same track. I think we have had I-35 2 weeks in a row. But most generally we have a different track every week, so we got a different audience.
That's fine. Get a little bit of
Spread it
people
out,
in.
man.
That's right.
Spread out the love.
Exactly.
Spread out the love. But
It's
anyway,
it's a way to go to all the racetracks.
yeah, it's right here.
Tune in. Yeah.
Anybody that wants to come talk to Mike, I bet Mike would have about anybody.
Anyway, folks, I think that's going to do it for tonight. I hope you have enjoyed the show. We're going to let Daniel out here so he can go home and relax and take it easy. And Greg and I and Gene are going to do the same thing. We'll just be back next week. And like I say, we may have Mike Parker. Who knows? That'd be interesting. I think everybody's kind of waiting on that, Greg,
Yeah.
to see what he's going to have to say. But on behalf of Greg Clemens, Daniel Harris, we say thank you for watching.
See you
Have a good
Saturday
evening.
night, right?
Yeah, see you
Yep.
Saturday or Friday night at the track.
That's right.
Hey,
Bye-bye.
win again so you can come back and see us.
That's one thing I haven't done yet. It's 2 weeks in a row, but
Back to back.
I'm just gonna go race Saturday night.
Oh, we got that moan on here. Old men. Grumpy old men.
Boy, tell me about it. I stay in one position.